Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're doing well. Today we're gonna see how can we have communication between two different VLANs using inter-VLAN routing. This is one of the methods that we use to have communication between two different VLANs. And as you can see in the picture, I have two VLANs in here, VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. VLAN 10 had a subnet of class 8.0.0.0, and VLAN 20 has a subnet of class C 192.168.1. By default, the computers in the same VLAN can have a communication with each other, and if we have two different VLANs, then there is no communication even if the computers are in the same subnet, because that's why we have VLAN in the first place. We have VLANs, or we use VLANs to segment or separate the switch into different or separate LANs. Each LAN can be separated from the other LANs and they cannot have communication. But sometimes we might need two different VLANs to have communication with each other, and in order to do so we can use inter-VLAN routing. We can use route in a stick to make this happen. So at the moment the scenario goes like this. These two computers will have virtual gateway, and this will be the virtual gateway, and these two computers will have a virtual gateway, and this will be the virtual gateway. And after that we will enable IP routing in here in our multi-layer switch, so the communication can happen between these two different VLANs. So let's go. Alright, so I already did the configuration for the computers, and I assigned the IP address to all the computers. For instance, this is PC1. We can check the IP address by typing the command show IP, and as you can see the IP address is 10.0.0.1, and this is the gateway. We can assign IP address to virtual PC by typing the command IP, and then we will assign the IP that we want, and then we'll add the subnet mask. And then if we want to add the gateway, we'll just give it a space, and then we'll type the gateway IP address that we want. It will check for any duplicated address, and accordingly the IP address will be assigned, and we can check that by typing the command show IP. So all the computers has been configured already, and the remaining process is just we need to configure our multi-layer switch. So the first thing we need to do is to configure VLANs by going to configuration terminal mode, config T, and now we will configure the first VLAN, VLAN 10, and then we will configure the second VLAN, VLAN 20. We can check our VLANs by typing the command show VLAN. As you can see, this VLANs has been created, VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. I have configured these VLANs already, but this is how you can configure VLAN. And now we need to configure the virtual IP or the gateway for VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. Before we do that, we need to assign the ports to the VLAN. So this port and this port will be part of VLAN 10. We can do that by typing in the command interface Ethernet 0x0 switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 10, and then the other port interface Ethernet 0x1 switch port mode access, and switch port access VLAN 10. As you can see from here, the ports has been assigned to their VLAN, and now we need to add port 0x2 and 0x3 to this VLAN, VLAN 20. So it will be interface Ethernet 0x2, switch port, mode access, switch port access VLAN 20, and the other one is Ethernet 0x3, switch port, mode access and switch port access VLAN 20. You can do this we're checking app verification by typing show VLAN. Alright, right now we need to configure IP address to the VLANs, so we can use it as a gateway, and we can do that by typing this command interface VLAN 10 IP address, and then we'll give it this IP address and this subnet mask, no shutdown, and then we'll configure a virtual gateway for VLAN 20, so it will be interface VLAN 20 IP address 192.168.1.10, and then this is class C, no shutdown. We can check if the IP has been assigned successfully by typing the command show IP interface brief. So now VLAN 10 have this IP address as the gateway, and VLAN 20 have this IP address as a gateway, and we can check the connectivity. Let's go to our PC1, show IP, and this is the IP and this is the gateway, so we can ping the gateway to see if we can communicate. Of course we can communicate with our gateway. The last thing we need to do in our multi-layer switch is to configure IP routing, so we can have the connectivity between the two different VLANs, and the command is very simple. We can just type IP routing. By typing this command we will enable the routing capabilities between the two different VLANs. And now let's check the connectivity between PC2, let's say this PC and this PC. We can check the IP address first of all, show IP, and this is the IP, and PC3 show IP, so this is the IP address and this is the gateway. So let's ping 192.168.1.3, and as you can see the communication is happening because we have enabled Inter-vlan routing between these two different VLANs. So this is how you can configure Inter-vlan routing using a multi-layer switch. I hope this video was informative for you, and I wish you a lovely day. Thank you. Goodbye.